Hello, I'm Stefanie.
And I'm Lauren.
And this is I've Got Guts, a podcast about living and thriving with chronic illness. Let's be real, it is really hard.
But it doesn't have to be. You are not alone.
With this podcast, we want to create a community and a space to be able to talk about the tough stuff
And laugh along the way.
The idea for this podcast stemmed from us trying to find one for ourselves to listen to, but not being able to find anything that didn't make us more sad or frustrated.
Our goal is to talk about the hard stuff, but also talk about how to get through it, be positive, have a full and productive life, and of course, thrive.
But before we get started, just so we are clear, we are not medical professionals. We are just here sharing our personal experiences. Okay, so happy Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yes, it is Teacher Appreciation Week. Gotta appreciate those teachers in your life, aka Broom and I.
That's right. So I think we should start with roses because my rose has to do with Teacher Appreciation Week.
Okay, I love it. Kick it off.
I have a student. Her mom is so creative. She handmade cards with envelopes for all of us. And the note inside was from the student. And she made us little stickers on her Cricut that say our name on them, and they're sparkly.
Okay, that is amazing.
I'm like, I emailed her. I'm like, this is the best teacher appreciation gift I've ever gotten. Because like a lot of times you get like gift cards for coffee. I can't drink coffee.
Yeah.
A sticker with my name on it. I love stickers.
That is so thoughtful.
It was really thoughtful. And I had other parents like send in just beautiful cards. And it's just nice when a parent like says, thank you for everything you do. That's all we want, really.
Exactly. It's never about the gift. It's always just about the thought and the words. I've gotten some of the most beautiful cards and things that have been written to me. And that's what sticks out.
Yeah. So that's my rose. How about you?
I love it. My rose has to do with this moment right now.
Ooh, I wonder why.
Well, we have a special guest on today, and it happens to be Connor. And I'm so excited to see him sitting here to my left. You say hi, Connor? So that's my rose, that he is brave enough to come on and be here with us today.
It's pretty special.
It is. And he did not want to do thorns and roses, right, buddy? No, thank you.
So we're taking over for him.
All right. Well, let's get into our thorns before we dive into our episode. Room?
So my thorn is a fertility journey thorn.
Okay, tell us.
So
we haven't really heard much.
Yeah, so
quiet.
everything's been a little quiet, but we are getting ready to start round 2 of things. And I went for my baselines on Monday, and my estrogen levels were just a little bit, I shouldn't say a little bit, they were a lot elevated. So I have to go in for blood work tomorrow to see if they've come down. If they come down, we're good to go and we'll start the next round tomorrow. If they didn't, I don't know what the next steps are. Hopefully not a canceled cycle. I'm trying to remain positive.
All right. We're sending all the good vibes for estrogen to be
down low.
Down low.
Yep.
I'm like, which direction are we going again?
Down low. Very low.
Very low.
All right. What's your thorn?
Okay. So my thorn, well, it was having to do with a quilt show that I wasn't invited to. So I happened to be going somewhere where my destination was not near
a bathroom,
like a McDonald's, Starbucks, Wegmans situation that I could run into. And I was getting closer to this destination. My stomach was not doing well. And I happened to pass, what would you call it?
Like a rec center.
Yeah, rec center. And it's just miles of cornfield in this rec center. And I'm thinking, well, it's the cornfields or the rec center. So, and it was packed. I'm like, all right, so it's open, but like, do you have to show a card? What do you have to do? Yeah. Happened to be a big old sign that says quilt show. I'm like, okay. I'm like sweating at this point. I've got to get to a bathroom. It is not going to be good. I whip into there, like the front, and there's like a front desk, and someone's working there and someone's standing. And she's like, can we help you? I'm like, yes, I'm here for the quilt show. And she's like, oh, yes, right around the corner to the left. And I'm like, is there a bathroom I could pop in before I make it to the quilt show? She's like, yes, I'd be down the hall the same direction. I'm like, wonderful. So I go, blow up their bathroom. And then I had to like sneak out. So I was just like, and the woman coming in had a cute little name tag that was like, quilt show. And she's like, oh, you're here for the quilt show? I'm like, sure am. But I was dressed up a little bit because where my destination was, I was wearing a dress. class. So I didn't fit in. The whole thing was crazy.
It's funny. Anybody who's listening is like, why is Stefanie laughing so hard at this? Because you do quilts? You are not a quilter. You don't care about quilts.
Nope. Don't care about quilts at all. And it just, thank goodness for it, though, because it gave me a bathroom stop. I mean, I think I would have had to show a card or something or membership.
It was fast thinking.
It was fast thinking. So grateful for that quilt show and that bathroom. And I made it to my destination and enjoyed my afternoon.
That's all you need sometimes is a good quilt show.
Thank you for all the quilts.
All right. So I am so glad you're here because today's episode is a special one to kick off Celiac Awareness Month. I'm joined by my co-host Lauren today, but not as my co-host, as my interviewee and her 9-year-old son and my nephew Connor for a heartfelt conversation about what it's like to navigate life with celiac disease, both as a parent and as a kid. Lauren was diagnosed in her early 20s, and after Connor was born, she made the decision to have him tested. When he was found to carry all the genetic markers for celiac, she made a powerful and proactive choice to raise him gluten-free from day one.
Yes, I did. And today, Connor and I are here to talk about what the celiac journey is all about, from managing daily life, advocating for ourselves, and of course, supporting each other.
Wait, we support each other?
You think you're such a comedian over there, don't you?
I will share how I handle birthday parties, school snacks, and teaching others about what it means to be gluten-free.
Whether you're living with celiac yourself, raising a gluten-free kid, or just want to better understand the gluten-free lifestyle, you're going to learn a lot from this thoughtful and inspiring duo. Let's jump in.
All right. I'm in the hot seat tonight.
Yes, we are starting with questions for Mom.
Okay, I'm ready.
For anyone who may not have tuned into earlier episodes, can you share a bit about your journey to getting diagnosed with celiac disease?
I guess frustrating would be the one word I would use to describe it. It was the 90s. I was a kid and I was sick all of the time. And to be really honest, I felt like nobody believed me. And I was in and out of the doctor and they just couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. So they gave me the IBS diagnosis. Of course. And then they told me I was lactose intolerant. And I really, like my parents and I believed that's what it was. And I stayed away from dairy and ice cream as a child.
It was like the worst thing ever.
I know. And I was still kept getting sick, but I kept staying away from it because I didn't know what else to do. And I actually kept a food diary back then.
Oh, I'm impressed.
Yes. I feel like one of my doctors recommended it. And even with that, there was never a rhyme or reason. It wasn't like I ate gluten and got sick. It was just sometimes I would get sick, sometimes I wouldn't, and I could never really connect the dots of what was causing me to get sick. So went to college.
Very sick.
So sick, and was finally diagnosed, what was it, our junior year of college.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, tried the gluten-free diet for 2 weeks, and I wasn't feeling better. I'm like, this can't be real. Celiac disease, gluten, like this cannot be real. Yep. So it might have been one night where there was a big old beer pong tournament going on. And
brought you right back in.
I was like, you know what? I'm in because it can't be this. And then finally I had to accept my fate. After college, when we graduated, I got very, very sick and landed in the hospital. And they looked at me and they did the endoscopy and all the blood work. They're like, no, really, you're a celiac. And I had to face it and embrace it and do it because I was withering away to nothing. I was down.
Yes,
remember, 90 pounds, barely surviving,
scary.
And so sick. So I hit rock bottom.
You did. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced early on when adjusting to a gluten-free lifestyle?
I think just my first reaction, right, of going back to the gluten because it was hard. It was hard, and I was young. I was in college, and I love Bud Light, to be honest.
I
know. But then once I finally accepted it, that was 2005, and there was barely anything out there that tasted good. No. There wasn't great access to it. I had to drive to Wegmans in Syracuse from Oswego the first time. And then even we were living in the Albany area at that time. There was no Wegmans there. And it was Price Chopper didn't have a lot to offer. Restaurants didn't have a lot to offer.
Nobody knew a lot about it.
Yeah. And I really slipped into a bit of a food depression. And I think that was really hard. And then finally, when I was sticking to the gluten-free diet, I think the biggest challenge for me was constantly getting poisoned.
Yeah.
That was very frustrating. And I lost my trust in the restaurant world.
You did.
And waitresses and waiters.
I feel like you just got it back like a year ago.
Seriously. It was just so hard because each time I got sick or I got poisoned, my reaction continued to get more severe and more severe.
Yeah.
So
I remember living in that fear of like, if I was like 3 hours after we went out to eat, I'm like, please don't call me. Please don't call me. Please don't call me. Because I knew.
Yeah, it's like clockwork. It'd be like that 2 to 3 hour mark. Boom. Instantly, I would be sick. So definitely tricky in the beginning, but here I am alive and well.
Here you are. That's right.
I survived.
So let's talk a little bit about parenting with celiac. When did you decide to have Connor tested and what went into that decision?
Well, because I was undiagnosed for so long, and then I finally got diagnosed, and hence here we are sitting on a podcast talking about how we thrive with chronic illness, it set off so many different other health issues, other autoimmune diseases, and I just have lived a life with a lot of chronic diseases, and it's been hard. And as soon as I knew I was pregnant and Connor was on the way, if there was any chance he was a carrier of the gene, I was going to find out and I was going to be proactive.
Yep.
And the normal practice, if you are a parent listening and you don't have celiac disease yourself, the normal practice is eat gluten.
Yeah.
And if you get sick, well, then we'll test you and see if you have celiac disease, you know? And I couldn't do that. I could not bring myself to put Connor in that position because with celiac disease, you can be a carrier of the gene, but it may not activate. Yeah. You never know when it can activate. When I look back on my childhood, it activated when I was 5. But with Connor, I wanted to get him tested so that I knew, was he a carrier of the gene or not? Because if he wasn't, we had nothing to worry about.
Right.
So I really brainstormed with his pediatrician. We go to Panorama Pediatric Group. They are dynamite. Dr. Kopp was fantastic. She really listened to me, made me feel heard, and was really real with, Lauren, we're not sure. You know, this is what we're recommended as doctors to tell you, to expose him to gluten. We'll see how it goes. But she valued and just saw my perspective and honored that and was like, let's do it. We can get, and it was her suggestion, let's do the genetic testing. Yeah. And that's just a simple blood test. And then from there, if he had the markers, then we could make the decision of what we were going to do. So that's what we did. We did the genetic testing.
So how did it feel to learn that he had the genetic markers and would need to be gluten-free too?
It broke my heart.
I know, because I remember the day that you found out.
It broke my heart. Connor doesn't remember. He was 6 months old.
He was a baby,
He was not happy. We had to pin him down to get the blood work done. And when we got those results and I sat with Dr. Kopp, I cried. And it was I cried because I know what it's like to feel different, to have to always kind of navigate this and feel left out. And a mom does not, as a parent, you don't want to see that or watch your kid have to deal with that. So it broke my heart. But then it empowered me because I was going to give him the life that I didn't get to have because of the fact that it was so unknown and very rare back in the 90s. And knowledge is power. And you know me when I get something in my head.
No one's talking you out of it.
Nope, that's for sure.
So was it easier or harder managing a gluten-free life for Connor than it was for yourself at first?
Honestly, at first it was so easy. He's drinking formula. It was just so simple, and formula was gluten-free. Then obviously the stress increased as he started walking and going to preschool. Yep. I mean, I was just so grateful because Connor went to Aunt Tony, which is your mom, for his first 3 years of life. So I just was at peace. Tony's like a second mother to me. me. And when he started eating, she just was so careful.
She was so nervous. I remember she would text me, "Are eggs gluten-free?"
Yes, Antoni, eggs are gluten-free.
But she just wanted to make sure, still to this day, like when he goes to her house, she'll call me. She'll be like, "He wants this popsicle. We can't get a hold of Lauren. Is it gluten-free?"
Those delicious fudge pops.
See?
But it just, that gave me peace knowing that he was with Antoni. I feel like the stress and worried feelings arose when he went to preschool.
Yeah.
And he was around other kids, and I was then putting his life in these teachers' hands, and that was very stressful. But Connor is one smart kid, and I had him trained. He was so vocal, very, very vocal.
From a young age,
Yes, he was like speaking complete sentences at a very young age. And he would be like, "Is that gluten-free?"
Yeah, it was the cutest thing ever.
"I'm gluten-free." Like the way he used to say it was so cute. I'd love to find a clip of a video of him saying it. He was so adorable. So
it really was.
Yes. As he got older, it got a little bit more challenging, but he did a great job of just advocating himself as soon as he could start talking, which was awesome.
So what does a typical day look like in terms of keeping meals safe for both of you?
So simple. We got it down to a T. I mean, I feel like most of our meals as a family are gluten-free. And when Sean does decide to gluten the kitchen with his gluten ways, he does an amazing job. He's got his own toaster. He takes care of making sure he's using the right pans and really cleaning things. And there are times he may get a little lackadaisical, and I have to remind him to spray down that counter.
Yep.
This is why I love Lysol so much. But we've got it down as a family, which is awesome.
Sean makes some pretty good gluten-free meals. His gluten-free hibachi is top notch.
Yes. Those pancakes are really good.
And his pancakes, see?
Waffles. Sean really, thank goodness for Dad, Connor, because he is quite the chef keeping
you alive, because if it were up to you to cook, you would never do it. Connor would be living off of raw carrots.
Grilled cheese and macaroni.
So how do you handle things like school snacks, birthday parties, or dining out?
Yeah, so just educating Connor on what to say, how to read labels once he could read, and just what questions to ask. And he is such a good listener. He really is. He is a rule follower, and that's all he knew, School is stressful, though, because, and it also breaks my heart at the same point, because, he's not going to be able to buy lunch. He's not going to be able to do certain things.
I mean, let's be honest. School lunches, they look kind of...
Everyone says the hot dogs are so good.
Oh, really? They look... My students had hot dogs the other day, and I was like, that's a hot dog?
Who knows what? That's mystery meat, I think. But school can be tricky. I think birthday parties are easy because, and this is great for parents who have, especially newly diagnosed celiac kiddos, I always just contact the parents ahead of time, find out what are you serving. If they're having pizza, I'll send Connor with pizza, or I'll order a Mark's pizza and get it sent there. If they're having whatever dessert, I'll make sure we bring a dessert for Connor to have. So it's just being proactive and having to kind of think about those things. Before. And a lot of times parents are like, what can I do, at birthday parties? What can Connor eat? I want to try to include him. And he's got some really awesome friends.
He does.
And their parents are very, very thoughtful. And, dining out, we have down. I feel like...
Got your spots you like to go to.
Yes, we have our spots that we like to go to that we trust, that Connor and I both enjoy. And, it's just a matter of advocating for yourself when you're out. And I think Connor's been in training all this time because he listens to me talk to the waiter and the waitress in a respectful, but joking, but serious with a death stare way about me to make sure we don't get poisoned.
Triple star.
Yes. What do I always say, Connor?
Triple star.
I'm like, gluten-free, triple star, look the chef in the eye.
Triple star.
Triple star.
That's a mom thing. It sounds like a mom thing.
It is.
So do you have any go-to tips or resources for other parents navigating the same path?
Yes. The Find Me Gluten-Free app is dynamite, especially when you're traveling on vacation or out of, the area from where you live, because in the Find Me Gluten-Free app is other celiacs rating their experience and rating the different restaurants. So it's not about, trashing the restaurant or not. It's more of just genuinely being like, okay, they are celiac safe or gluten-free, because there's a difference. You can be gluten-free, but there could be cross-contamination, and that is not celiac safe. So I just think that app is fantastic, and trust your gut. Like your intuition will tell you. There are situations Connor and I are in. I'm like, we're not eating here. Don't eat that. Or even when we go to a family member's house and they serve something, I'm like, and we're not going to eat that today. Mom doesn't have a good feeling about it, So, and if you're local to Rochester, the Rochester Celiac Support Group does a lot for kids now, and they have just a lot of resources on their website. And you can look forward to, in the rest of the month of May, we're going to be highlighting that group and all that they do in our area.
For kids. So, it's amazing.
Yes. Yeah. So even if you don't live in Rochester, look for those support groups because they are all across the country.
They really are.
Yes. And they target adults to children. Yep.
So how has having celiac disease yourself helped you support Connor emotionally?
Well, I feel like I have an advantage. I've talked to other parents who have kids who are celiac, and it's hard when you're learning it for yourself the first time and then you're trying to keep your kids safe, right? Yes. But for me, I already had it down myself, which was wonderful. And it was easy to teach him and know what was safe and what tasted good and what strategies I use when we're out and how to be respectful to others when we're advocating for ourselves. So I really admire Connor. When he was super young, he rarely got upset.
I can't think of a time
about being gluten-free. It was just all he knew. And I think I worried more about him feeling left out or him not feeling included. He was just always like, yep, sorry, Mom, I ate my gluten-free cookie, or yep, I took my own snack. And it's all he knew. And he really handled it amazing. And I always will admire him for that.
Me too.
Those rice cakes at Full Heart were really good.
See? You like preschool had a snack you liked?
Yeah, Full Heart Daycare. Little shout out to Full Heart. Connor went there for preschool, and they were wonderful with keeping him safe and providing yummy snacks, right?
Rice cakes.
Whoever thought rice cakes would be good.
Right? I do love a good rice cake every now and then. So what would you say to a new parent who just found out their child has celiac disease?
It will feel overwhelming at first. In the beginning, as you're trying to figure things out, figure out the gluten-free diet, figure out how sensitive your kiddo is, avoiding getting poisoned, all of that. It is overwhelming, but give yourself grace. Yeah. Every day it gets easier. There are so many resources out there, especially now on the internet. Different, blogs you can read, just books you can get. Yeah. There's just so many things out there. Whereas back in the day, they used to say, all right, you have celiac disease, like good luck, I remember there was like one book I found, it was the Gluten-Free Bible, and I carried that everywhere.
I know, you had to back then.
Yeah, so just tap into the resources that are out there because there is so much available, and give yourself grace. You're doing amazing. You will get through it, and you'll look back in the beginning and know that you were headed in the right direction all along. So
true.
Trust yourself.
Trust yourself. Trust your guts.
Yeah.
Because you got them.
We can make a little rap with that.
All right. You ready, Connor?
Yeah.
I got some questions for you. So let's start with a fun question. Do you have a favorite gluten-free meal or treat?
Baked Lays.
Baked Lays. You are your mother's child. Potato chips. Baked Lays. Okay. Why the baked ones?
It just tastes a lot better.
Okay. I have not had a baked Lays in a long time. I might have to give it a whirl.
You come to our house, a chip monster over there might not share.
Nope. No sharing chips around here.
Not even with me?
Maybe.
All right. So what do you do when there's a class party or someone brings in snacks?
Is it gluten-free?
That's what you asked?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens if it's not?
Sit there, watch people eat.
And it doesn't bother you.
No.
Look at you. You are such a little... I love you. Have you ever had to say no to food that wasn't safe?
Yes.
Yeah? How does that make you feel?
don't care.
You don't care. You are just so easy peasy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah,
as long as I don't throw up, I'm good.
Yeah, right. So there's that feeling. So how do you let people know about your celiac disease?
I kind of just say, I'm gluten-free. Is there something I could have?
Yeah. Then do you tell them why it's important that you have something that's gluten-free ever? No. No, you know in your heart it could make you sick, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever teach your friends or classmates what gluten-free means?
No. Well, I mean,
what about Tanner?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he asked me to share food, and then he says, and I say no, and he says, why not? I'm gluten-free. What's gluten-free again?
No,
every day.
What do you say to him when he asks you that?
I can't have that stuff.
I can't have that stuff. You're not like, I can't eat wheat, oats, barley, or rye. You don't say that? Okay.
No, I just say I can't eat that stuff.
Well, I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself every chance you get.
How long have you known Tanner for that he still hasn't gotten this down? A couple years now, right?
2nd grade.
He's in 2nd grade.
And you're in what grade now, Connor?
4th.
All right. So Tanner has some catching up to do. What do you wish more people knew about having celiac disease?
I don't know.
It sounds like from what you're saying, it's not that bad. It's not that hard. You make it sound so easy.
For me, it is. I've just done it for my whole life. As long as I know.
So I think that's good advice to give people who might be newly diagnosed. It's not that hard once you get used to it, right?
Not at all.
Yeah, see, look at that. Getting inspiration from a 9-year-old.
There we go.
What's something that's awesome about being gluten-free?
Quackers.
Quackers.
All right, tell us about the quacker situation.
Quackers are really good.
Is quacker isn't it like a duck-shaped Cheez-It?
Yeah. It's more like goldfish, though.
More
but
like
gluten-free.
goldfish. Yeah, okay.
Gluten-free.
And that's the best part. I thought you were going to say Donna Marie's.
Oh, yeah, that's really good, too.
Those cinnamon rolls.
Ooh. We found, where did you get those new cinnamon rolls? Those were good.
Oh, where was I? Oh, when we went to Livingston County Pizza.
Yes.
I feel like we shout these guys out every other episode, but
even Connor's shouting them out now.
Yeah, the last time I went, they happened to have cinnamon rolls, and that's definitely...
And the bagels were really good. And the cupcake.
And was the pizza good?
I don't know.
Wait, you had the pizza from there.
You didn't give it to me.
Did you eat the pizza?
Okay, I definitely brought the pizza home. Connor, go back in the catalog of your memory.
Mom, I never had pizza. You probably had some weird green stuff on it.
Oh, you and your greens.
We're going to have to go back and talk about that at a later date because I'm 99% sure.
I didn't have it.
Did Sean eat the pizza? Or maybe in the night, Kenzie's opening the fridge and eating your treats.
I mean... That's a pretty good chance. Has a pretty good chance.
Okay, so Mom has some questions for you, but before we wrap things up, I have a very important bonus question. Who's the coolest aunt in the world?
That's a hard one.
What? You
You
better say that.
When Connor was previewing the questions, he was going through them very seriously. When he got to the end, he was like, who is the coolest aunt in the world? It was so cute to hear him read the question.
You know what I just finished doing today?
What?
Writing your birthday poem.
Could I see it?
No, not until your birthday.
I know what's happening.
Are we going to the Bahamas?
No, I keep asking. Last time I was Jamaica, now it's the Bahamas. You have to wait till I get rich, and then I'll take you there.
What about,
No guesses.
what about, Florida or something?
Still, I need to be rich.
We can go
these
to
days.
we can go down to Wabi and Papa's.
It's true. We can
All right.
He's
Here
got
we-
it all planned out.
Here we go. He's pitching to you his next birthday adventure. Because for the listeners who do not know, Aunt Rome always gifts Connor an adventure for his birthday versus a birthday present.
But it's a riddle, and he always has to figure it out.
I like the Josh Allen or the Otters is.
Those are my two favorite too. Although we did have some fun on those water slides last summer.
Yeah, Darien Lake was. I like the bounce house.
The bounce house was fun too. See, we've had so many good ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's all of them, right?
That's all of them. Yep.
Ah.
Have you got the stickers yet?
I do. We're on a scrapbooking adventure. That's what's happening right now.
I love it. I love it. You guys and your birthday special adventures. I am going to ask you some questions now, Connor.
Ooh, questions.
And I'm going to start with, tell us about a time when you felt left out being gluten-free at home.
When I see Dad eating those delicious looking like Cheez-It things.
What are just regular cheeses?
Just regular Cheez-Its. He also likes he does goldfish.
Oh, those look so good.
Oh,
And he just keeps eating them in front of us.
Man, that gluten eater.
That dad gluten eater. He's lucky that we allow him to do that because he does cook us many meals.
Yeah.
Gluten-free meals, yes.
We let it go, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Connor. Now tell us about a recent time you came home from Wonder Care, which is the after-school program you go to, and you said you hated being gluten-free. What happened that day? Because that doesn't normally come out of your mouth. You're usually pretty positive. What happened?
That comes out of now a lot. I feel like it was just every day every day I was in Wonder Care kept being goldfish and Cheez-Its, goldfish, Cheez-Its.
Mm-hmm. It was like in your face, the things you really like, right?
Yeah.
And then what happened when you guys were building something and you were like, what did you say?
Oh, something about frosting,
All
right?
I can eat is frosting and
Oh yeah, we were making a graham cracker school bus, and all I could have was the frosting and berries.
Oh, that's boring.
like wah wah. Now, in Wonder Care's defense, they do an amazing job of providing gluten-free snacks. It just happened to be the week Wabi and Papa were away, so Connor was going every day after school.
So it was an unexpected Wonder Cure stay.
Right,
Okay.
right. Yeah. All right, next question from me. What does it feel like when you know you've been poisoned with gluten?
First of all, Mom, I don't like when you lie to me. like that one time we were in the car, going from coming from Maryland. I had ice cream, and you said, no, it's been 3 hours, you're fine, you're not gonna throw up. And then 5 minutes later I start throwing up. You walk out of the car and said, I lied.
Okay, in my defense, he always does seem to get poisoned on these really long car trips. We have like 19 hours ahead of us and he's like vomiting. So we went to the ice cream place and that was the only thing he ate that day, right? I think before we left the condo, you had something that was for sure gluten-free.
Yeah.
So he started looking kind of...
You were
pale.
feeling nervous.
Well, he was pale as a ghost. Like, Sean's like driving. He's like, take a look at him. And look at the right, look around. He's like white as a ghost. And he's like, I don't think I feel right. So I was just thinking maybe he was feeling nervous. Then I was also thinking maybe you were perseverating on the fact that maybe you were poisoned and you weren't. And I wanted to try to distract your mind and make you think that that time has passed. So I told you it was 3 hours.
But I could read time. I leaned over and I saw the time. It was like an hour and a half after. I was like, Mom, it's only been an hour and a half.
And I was like, oh no. And then he vomited. And then I confessed. I'm a really bad liar.
You are a very bad
Yes.
liar. I can confirm that.
I was in the front seat and I was facing forward. So I couldn't really be questioned too much, but I did lie.
You did get questioned a lot, though.
Other than Mom lying, though, it sounds like you do not like throwing up.
No.
What about the corn toasty?
Oh, Mom, that's supposed to be at the end.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I just dropped the question. Okay, let's skip the corn toasty. We'll leave you on a corn toasty cliffhanger. And I'm going to ask my last question for you. You are turning 2 whole hands, 10 years old on June 5th. I can't believe it's happening. What kind of gluten-free birthday cake do you want this year?
Dun, dun, dun.
cookie cake.
Ooh, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so cookie cake. Where am I getting this?
You're making it.
Oh,
Whoa, bold.
Is that a challenge?
Yes,
Can
it's a
Dad
challenge.
help, or do I have to be the one to do it?
Hey, you could ask Dad.
I can make it.
Yeah, room.
Yeah.
You make a cookie cake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, are you gonna want like frosting on
You want
it?
like
or-
chocolate chips, snickerdoodle?
Ooh, can you do half and half? Like one half of a cookie on one side and the other half something else?
The other half.
Son, are you ripping on my Long Island accent that
Yes, I am.
surfaces from
I
time
almost
to
snorted
time?
on the podcast the first time, but I held it in.
Connor O'Reilly.
What? What?
You know this is how I talk.
This is how I talk.
So everyone, as you can see, Connor loves to rip on me.
I really do.
Well, we're getting into Connor and Mama time. So, Connor, it looks like you have some questions for Mama.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So, how did it feel when you were diagnosed?
How did it feel when I was diagnosed or
Yes.
before?
When?
I felt sad.
Sad.
I felt sad. I was not as strong as you were.
No.
I was not as ready as you were to take on the celiac world. I was having a hard time, and I was in my 20s.
Yep.
And you were this young little kid, and you were all about
Yeah.
thriving, and I was not.
Nope. I remember the first time she had a bite of a gluten-free waffle, and we were next door neighbors. She lived in the bedroom next door to me, and all I heard was, "Oh my God, it tastes disgusting. I can't do this." So,
Oh, goodness. All right, Connor, what do you got
Did
for
you
me
ever
next?
feel left out?
Have I ever felt left out? Like, what do you mean? Like at school
No.
or with friends or?
No, like when you went to like somewhere where there was a lot of gluten.
Yeah, I have to say, when I would do a lot of traveling and I would travel and go on some girls' trips or business trips with girlfriends, I did kind of feel left out and I really felt really hungry and that did not feel good, you know?
You were hungry.
All right, man. What else? Do you have one more for me?
Were you happy when you stopped feeling sick?
Yes, I was very happy when I stopped feeling sick. I was like, this is what the normal human feels like? I spent my 20-something years feeling terrible. I remember looking at Dad and being like, this is how you feel? This is how everybody feels? I feel amazing. But it took me 3 months. So if you are a newly diagnosed celiac, you can't really say you're feeling, you can't really decide how you're feeling until you wait till past that 3-month mark because it takes 3 months to have the small villi in your intestines truly heal and have your body kind of purge all of that gluten. So 3 months is where it's at. That's where it's at.
And what's the best part about being gluten-free?
I have a buddy now. His name is Connor O'Reilly.
Hi.
It really is. Honestly, I love having you as my
see
buddy.
him. I don't see him. Where is he?
good character over there today.
Quite the character. But yes, buddy, you are the best part about gluten-free because we get to do it together. And I wouldn't want to be gluten-free with anybody else, especially not Dad. So he better not get that. Oh, imagine Dad has the genetic marker and he doesn't know and it triggers tomorrow. And then we're a whole gluten-free family. Do you think that would ever happen?
Which dad?
Our dad. Your dad. What dad?
Whatever dad
You
is.
think I'm talking about Papa?
Yeah.
Papa. Well, we thought Papa was maybe a celiac, but he's not.
We thought Papa was an undiagnosed celiac because Papa has a lot of digestive distress going on. And I thought that he definitely maybe was a celiac, but
Nope.
Papa is not a celiac. It's been confirmed numerous times.
No.
Nope. All right, you two celiacs, tell us about the funniest gluten-free memory you have. Connor has been waiting for that.
All right, the corn toasties set the tone. What was happening at our house in Dorrington? our old house?
I usually sit by the like, what would you call that? Like the open part?
Yeah, in our old kitchen, it was the corner of our kitchen table, and we had like a little picture window where we could look into our living room from our kitchen. So Connor would always have that corner seat.
Yeah.
Right. So
After I stole it from Dad.
After you stole it from Dad. It was like, we all kind of... You stole it from Dad. I stole it from you. We kind of all traded that spot. But this was your spot at this point in time. So you always sat there. And who was visiting?
Kendall and Cortland were visiting, and
It was your birthday, right?
no, Mom,
Okay.
this was like,
Just a random visit?
yeah,
Okay.
they were just like coming over,
Okay, they were just over.
and like I took a bite of the corn toasty, and Mom screamed,
Wait, who made the corn toasty?
Aunt Jen,
Yes, and she made it for...
Cortland.
Right, and she put it down in Connor's spot, which Aunt Jen, in her defense, had no idea that was Connor's spot, you know?
Yeah. I took a bite of it and Mom screamed, no! So I spit it out. I was like, what? And Mom said, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth. And she made me swish my mouth like a billion times and brush my teeth even more. And I was screaming the whole time, I didn't swallow it.
I'm like, there could have been a particle that went down your esophagus. He was like, Mom.
And did you throw up after that?
No.
Oh my goodness.
To see him take a bite of that corn toasty.
Yeah, I'm sure.
My heart fell into my stomach and I did scream. The whole house went silent. Like you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah. Uncle Hof, and then Uncle Hof after was like, yeah, I forgot what he said, but he was like, I like how you acted there.
Right. He thought my overreaction might have been a bit over.
Oh,
Over
way
the
over the
top.
top.
Just a bit.
A bit?
But that was, I don't think I've ever witnessed you putting something in your mouth like that I knew wasn't gluten-free. I think the times you were poisoned.
It did taste good, though.
Oh,
sure,
that's how
yeah.
you know, right? The taste buds go wild.
Yeah.
And it's like, something's not
Especially
right.
a corn toasty. Those are
Right,
good.
right. And you've only been poisoned at this point 3 times, right, buddy?
Nope.
How many?
Like 4 times.
You think it was 4?
Yeah, 3 because the time I threw up in my Ranger's bucket, and then
That's terrible.
Well, we went to
Yeah.
Long Island. We were staying with Aunt Kathy. We went to a New York Ranger game.
I
Goodness, Aunt Kathy ran out when
Yeah.
we were leaving. What did she say? Wait.
wait! I have his bucket.
It had
and
popcorn in it.
and it had popcorn. I was like, oh no, we don't need it, and I ran out and grabbed it.
You puked right in it.
And then I had Lucky Charms before that. We were driving down, and then right by a gas station, I was like, Mom, I'm gonna throw up. And Mom was like, Dad, pull over. and I leaned out of the car and just started puking.
After you filled up the entire Ranger bucket one time. And that was
Oh
like
my
one of those big
goodness.
old popcorn buckets from Madison Square Garden.
And then wasn't there a time where you were driving alone with him?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if he remembers.
I don't.
He was little and we went to visit Kelly, and Kelly has 4 kiddos, and
No, I don't.
everybody was little, toddling around, and there was cereal, and I think you might have eaten some of Bryson's cereal. And Mom is driving on the Taconic, and you're strapped in your car seat, and I knew it. The same thing. I look in the rearview mirror, and he's white as a ghost. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. And that was the first time he threw up. That's the first time we knew. And I think you were 2.5 or 3. And I
Definitely
took you to
don't
Dr.
remember
Kopp
this.
because his reaction, and this is good for parents, of a newly diagnosed celiac. His reaction was digestive. He was throwing up. He also was covered in hives. He had
That's been the last few times too.
Yes. And we took him to the doctor, and we ended up getting him tested, and he was tested for a wheat allergy.
Okay.
So he had an EpiPen for a little bit there because he had celiac
I had an
disease.
EpiPen this year.
Yep. Which is just proactive now, because we do believe the wheat allergy has kind of, with allergies with kids, they can kind of
Yes,
grow
they
out
can.
of them.
Yep.
So
Hopefully that's gluten.
I doubt that one.
well, buddy, that's celiac disease is an autoimmune disease that you will be living with for the rest of your life. But hey, listen, ready? They're doing research, and they're looking for a cure or a pill or something that we can take.
I like pills.
Okay, tell them why you like pills, because you're so proud at a young age you're able to do what with them?
Swallow them.
Yeah, that's a hard skill. It really is.
It's hard. I have one every night.
I wasn't able to swallow pills till I was like 13 years old. I was terrified of them. I had to have the liquid, yucky tasting medicine.
I think the grape one tastes good.
Oh, when we were kids, they didn't have good flavors.
They did not. It was
like
super
chalk.
yucky. It was super yucky.
I wonder how that tastes.
Yeah, so
Ugh, not good.
you don't want to. You don't want to know. You don't want to know. So that was fun.
That was fun. This was a great episode, and I think a great way to kick off Celiac Awareness Month.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We do have the rest of the month some really good celiac episodes for you, so stay tuned.
Yes, we're so excited to highlight different journeys.
Yeah.
And to highlight some gluten-free recipes. So we have a lot of fun celiac and gluten-free episodes for you.
Yes.
What type of recipes?
Oh, you'll see.
Ooh, one of them has to do with butter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I was like, I don't
butter.
care.
God knows how much I love butter, right, bud?
You can live on butter, cheese, and wine.
That's true.
I forgot the chips.
Butter, cheese, wine, and chips. That's true.
There you go. My son knows me well. Well, Connor, we're so happy to have you on today.
Thank you
I
for
love
being
you.
our guest.
I hope so.
I love you too.
That's a good one.
You're the best, buddy. We appreciate you being on. And I really think it's going to be great for kids to listen to hear you talk about what it's like to be a celiac and be gluten-free. So thanks, bud. You're the best.
Did I talk too much?
You
talked
did great.
Perfect amount. We're very proud of you.
All right.
All right. So
We appreciate likes, reviews, and follows wherever you listen to your podcasts.
we sure do.
And you can find us at I've Got Guts Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. And you can email us at I'veGotGutsPodcast@gmail.com.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.